having an So good evening, everyone. Hope you can all hear me, right? Hello? Hello? Boys and girls, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So request every other individual to enable your videos so that we can start the class. So we were understanding in the previous class about life process. We understood about the structure of the digestive system, and also we understood how the digestive system is going to have different parts in it. What are all the parts and what is the importance of these parts we understood in the previous class. So any doubt in that what we have done in the previous class? Anybody? Hello? Hello, can you all hear me?
No, sir. No doubt.
No doubts. So directly, can we start with the chapter today? Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So now today, we will go ahead trying to understand about the activity of digestion. So we will take the heading as digestion of food. So today we'll try to understand about the digestion of food. So let's try to understand how digestion starts taking place in every step of the digestive system. So let's try to understand that in detail. Okay. So very first, we'll go with the activity of digestion in mouth. So today, first part is we'll try to understand the activity of digestion in mouth. So very first, what will happen is the food is ingested into the mouth. So the moment the food is ingested into the mouth, what will happen there? The mouth is consisting of buccal cavity. There is presence of teeth and also there is presence of tongue. We understood that the buccal cavity will be having three types of salivary glands. Yes or no? So those salivary glands' importance is to help in secretion of the saliva. So the food, the moment it is ingested into the buccal cavity, it mixes with the saliva, and along with that, we are going to tear the food, bite the food, chew the food, and you are going to convert it into a paste-like substance. Whatever the food you are going to take it into the mouth. For example, if you are eating chapati, chapati will be a round-shaped substance. So which you are going to cut it into small piece, and then you are going to take it into your mouth. So with the help of your incisors, you are going to cut it. After cutting it, you are going to chew it. So once you chew it, the saliva starts mixing with the food. So once it mixes with the food becomes as a paste-like substance. So the softening of the food takes place. Once the softening of the food takes place, the food gets converted into something called as a bolus. The food is converted to bolus. Now, once the food is getting converted to bolus, the salivary glands, whatever are there, the saliva, it is going to secrete saliva. So every single day, salivary glands secrete approximately 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva. So whether you are going to consume food or not, that is secondary, but your salivary gland has to show the activity of secretion of saliva, which will be up to 1 to 1.5 liters of saliva per day. Every day that has to be secreted. Now, this particular saliva has certain characteristic features. So what is that? Saliva means when food is taken, or I would say food is ingested. So when the food is ingested, saliva will be slightly acidic. It will be slightly acidic. Okay. So why it has to become acidic? Because saliva also has enzymes in it. So if that enzymes has to act on the food happens, if the enzyme has to act on the food, the enzymes require acidic medium. So for that particular reason, saliva will be acidic, slightly acidic, only when the food is taken inside. Or else rest of the time, it will never be acidic, it will be neutral, or it can be something considered to be as slightly neutral, means 7 only, it will be all the time. But slightly acidic means what? How much will be the pH? The pH of the solution, saliva solution, will be ranging at 6.8. In chemistry, you will be learning what is the meaning of pH. You have a chapter called as acids, base, and salts. So in that, you will understand what is the meaning of pH and what is the 6.8 value. Usually, the pH will be having a scale from measuring from 1 to 14. So 1 to 6 is considered to be as acidic, 7 is neutral, 8 to 14 is considered to be as basic. We'll learn about that. So here, it is slightly acidic, pH becomes 6.8 because of the reason. What is the reason? Saliva has an enzyme. Saliva has an enzyme which is considered to be as salivary amylase. So this, what is the importance of the salivary amylase? Salivary amylase has to act on the food, break the food into smaller substance, or I would say it has simpler molecules, for which it requires acidic medium. So that's why saliva becomes acidic, making the pH as 6.8. So what is it going to do? There is presence of something called as starch. So every day, whenever we are going to consume the food will be considered to be as a complex substance which is called as starch. So we are able to see starch. So if you eat chapati, chapati is a starch. Rice is a starch. Similarly, ragi, when you consume ragi ball, that is considered to be a starch. So that starch molecule has to be converted into a simpler molecule. So it forms something called as maltose. So starch gets converted into maltose. So if starch has to be converted into maltose, salivary amylase has to act on it. So salivary amylase acts on starch, converts the starch into maltose. So what is starch? Starch is a polysaccharide. So it is a polysaccharide. Maltose is considered to be as a disaccharide. It is a disaccharide. So polysaccharide is a complex food molecule. Disaccharide is a simpler food molecule. So starch is converted into maltose. So polysaccharide is converted into disaccharide by salivary amylase acting on starch, converting it into maltose. Hope this is clear to everybody. Any doubt in the Anybody? Students, can you please respond?
No, sir.
Okay. So starch is getting converted to maltose. So food, whatever we are going to consume, that food is not considered to be as present in the buccal cavity for quite long period of time. The food will be present in the buccal cavity for just few minutes of time. That's it. So as it is going to be present for few minutes of time, not all starch gets converted into maltose. Only some. Means assume that out of 100%, some 2 or 3% of the food molecules gets converted into maltose. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So you can carry out it, yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, once the food has converted into bolus, so again, there is mouth. From the mouth, the food is entering into the esophagus. So the food is entering into the esophagus. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So once the food is entering into the esophagus, it is going to pass through one substance or a material, means a type of the component called as pharynx. And then from the pharynx, we are able to see presence of one flap-like structure. We have some flap-like structure here. That flap-like structure, we call it as epiglottis. It is called as epiglottis. So what is the function of this epiglottis? Epiglottis is a flap. Now what is going to happen is, there is, means let me put it like this. Behind this particular esophagus, there is one more opening or a tube-like structure, which is considered to be a trachea. So once the food is entering and it is being swallowed, the food can enter even the trachea also, as well as it can enter the esophagus. Now, if it is entering to the esophagus, no problem. It is in the alimentary canal itself. But if it is entering into the trachea, it is very dangerous. Food should not enter the trachea. If it enters to the trachea, it goes into your lungs. And also there are possibility that the food molecules can come out from your nasal cavity, which is very dangerous. So that's why the nature has gifted a material which is a muscular structure, flap-like structure called epiglottis. So what it is going to do, that epiglottis is going to close the trachea. So epiglottis, this epiglottis closes the trachea so that food can enter only through the esophagus. It will not enter the trachea. So that is the importance of the epiglottis. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Sir?
Now, yeah. Anybody has a doubt?
Sir, while breathing, the epiglottis will open, sir.
Yeah. So what will happen is, whenever we are going to show the activity of breathing with mouth, means we are going to sometimes take in air with the, means I'm talking now. I'm not consuming food, I'm talking now. Air molecules are entering. So at that particular point of time, epiglottis closes the esophagus, opens the trachea. So the air molecules will enter the trachea at that time. Got it, Manya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So that is the importance of this epiglottis in the human body. Hope this part is clear. Now what happens, once the food enters into this esophagus, so it cannot roll down. It is not easy for the food to roll down into this esophagus. So esophagus will be showing contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. So it is showing contraction, relaxation. The food is being pushed down so that easy movement is going to take place. And another important thing is this esophagus is an elastic substance. And there are all possibilities. It's something like an elastic balloon-like substance. It can break down anytime. So that's why nature has gifted one more thing here. What is that gift is, this esophagus will be covered by C-shaped cartilage. What I'm writing in the pink type of chalk. So it is going to be considered to be as a C-shaped cartilage. So that C-shaped cartilage is going to prevent the breakdown of the entire esophagus. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now what has happened? The food has shown digestion. Some amount of the food has shown digestion, and the food has entered into the, means from the esophagus, the food enters into the stomach. Now, when the food is taken into the mouth, food contains so many substances. There is starch in the form of carbohydrate. There is also protein, as well as there is also fatty acid. Okay, so all these things are going to be present. The main things which are required for the body is starch. Starch is nothing but carbohydrate, which is broken down into glucose, simpler food molecule called glucose. So that is the major primary source of energy to the human body. So that is starch. Second is protein. Protein is a complex food material which is broken down into amino acids, and those amino acids are required for building, means it's required as building blocks of our life. Then last one you have is fatty acid. Fatty acid is nothing but fats, lipids, so which are considered to be as the secondary source of energy to the human body. So starch is digested as maltose. That too, out of 100% starch what you consume, only 2 to 3% is digested. Remaining 95 to 97% is still remaining as it is. Proteins are not digested. Fats which has to be converted to fatty acids are not digested. So all those things has to enter into the stomach. Now in the stomach, there is a requirement of further digestion activity. So now we'll try to understand digestion, what is going to take place in the stomach. So digestion in mouth, anybody has any doubt?
No,
Can we
sir.
proceed? Mundu Kogla?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I'll be rubbing this part. Fine. So you know it. Only thing which is undergone digestion in the mouth is starch. Just for the reference. Okay. Starch is converted into maltose. Maltose. Okay. Next one. Let's try to understand the second step, which is considered to be as digestion in stomach. Digestion in stomach. Please make a note as digestion in stomach. Okay. Okay. Now let's try to understand what is the importance of this digestion which is going to take place in the stomach. So just to brief you, stomach is something like a C-shaped structure, or a J-shaped structure. That's what we understood in the previous class. So this is the stomach. Now the stomach, various activity is going to take place. So the bolus food from the esophagus has moved down to the stomach, and now stomach, major amount of the food gets digested. So the food stays in the stomach for around 3 to 4 hours period of time. So it is going to stay in the stomach for around 3 to 4 hours period of time. Is that fine? So in that period of time, what and all is going to happen? Let's try to understand. So this entire stomach will be lined by something called as gastric gland. There will be presence of gastric gland. So this gastric gland has a capacity of secreting gastric juice. So it is going to secrete gastric juice. So stomach is lined with the gastric gland. Gastric gland is going to secrete gastric juice. So what is this gastric juice made up of? Gastric juice is made up of mainly, first, hydrochloric acid. So we have HCl, hydrochloric acid is going to be present in it. Second thing, it has renin. Okay, R-E-N-I-N. There is something called as renin. Sorry, it is R-E-N-N-I-N, renin. Then third, we have something called as pepsin. So this is the another enzyme which is present in it. First is hydrochloric acid. Second is renin. Third is pepsin. And also we have something called as lipase. This is another enzyme which is present in it. Lipase, which we call it as gastric lipase also. So we are supposed to understand all the functions of this now. So let's go ahead to understand very first. You can see, and also this entire gastric gland will be covered by something called as mucus. So there is a layer which is going to be covering it, which is called as mucus. Let us try to understand the importance of mucus. So there is something called as mucus. So what is the importance of mucus? So hydrochloric acid is highly acidic in nature. So it has to act on food, and the food molecules has to be digested into simpler food molecules. Complex food has to be digested into simpler. So if hydrochloric acid is highly acidic, there is all possibility that the entire stomach wall can get corroded. So as there is a possibility that it can get corroded, there is a mechanism to overcome from it. So the mechanism to overcome from this is mucus secretion. Mucus is something like a slimy secretion. So that slimy secretion protects the wall of the stomach to overcome from acidic attack. Is that clear? It overcomes from acidic attack. Is that fine?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now let's try to understand. So I'll write it as
Sir, mucus is neutral, no, sir?
Mucus is neutral. Mucus is neutral. Yes. Okay. So it prevents. So mucus function is prevents, or we'll make it as protects, not prevents, protects. Protects stomach from acid attack. ಇವಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we people start consuming too much of acidic food. Acidic food ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ತರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? When you consume too much of citrus fruits, or acidity can be caused when you don't consume food at right time. So right time ಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ತಿಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ gastric problem ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ? I hope you people all know about this. So ಆ particular time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, when the body becomes too acidic, a person can suffer with something called as gastric ulcer. It's an extra information. It's not there in your textbook. Just an extra information to know about that. That's it. What is this gastric ulcer? When you don't consume the food at the right time, atra condition alli mucus gets thin. The wall of mucus becomes very thin. Acid can attack on the walls of the stomach. Our walls of the stomach will attack the walls of stomachs gets corroded and it forms something like blisters. I call that as ulcer. Very, very dangerous. So atra condition agbardu antandre you people all should consume food at right time. Breakfast alli breakfast ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, lunch time ಅಲ್ಲಿ lunch ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, night time dinner ಅಂದ್ರೆ dinner ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Lunch time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು breakfast ತಿಂತೀನಿ. Okay, night lunch time. Yeah.
Sir, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಈ ತರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್?
Yeah, we have various types of medications for that. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಮೆಡಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಗ್ನೀಷಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ?
Yes,
ಜಲೂಸಿಲ್
sir.
ಸಿರಪ್ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ?
Sir.
Jalousal syrup is nothing but milk of magnesia that helps in overcoming from acidity. Okay, adu ನೀವು chemistry ಓದ್ತೀರಾ. Mahesh sir will teach you about that part. Okay, fine. Just a minute. Sorry for the interruption. Fine. So you understood now how acidity means ulcers can be overcome. Godaitala, Manya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So it protects the stomach from acidic attack. Now let us try to understand the function of HCl aqueous. So which is nothing but hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid function in human body. First and the foremost thing is considered to be as HCl provides acidic medium. Provides acidic medium for food. Sorry, acidic medium for enzymes to act on food. So what is this? It is providing acidic medium for enzymes to act on food. And artha enu anta neevu kelbodu. Gastric juice contains renin, pepsin, lipase antala ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲಾ enzymes food ಮೇಲೆ act ಆಗಿ to break that into simpler substances, it requires acidic medium. So acidic medium is very much important. So adikagi hydrochloric acid is going to have acidic medium, which is providing that acidic medium for the enzymes. Yav enzymes? Renin, pepsin and lipase. It is providing acidic medium so that it can act on the complex food, break that into simpler substances. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Fine. So second, another important function of HCl is the HCl is going to help in what do you call it as destroying or killing microorganisms which are present in the food. So you all know that microorganisms are present everywhere. Ivaga if I prepare means ivagala nivadella enagutte antandre you people are all having this cravings towards roadside foods like pani puri, bel puri, gobi manchuri, bhaji bonda, all these things you people consume. Hodalva? So it will all be exposed to the atmosphere. So atmosphere contains various types of microorganisms. There can be bacteria, there can be fungus, there can be what do you call it as the protozoans. Anything can be present. So those molecules, means those living substances, has even the capacity of causing some problems to the human body. Diseases spread. Like if you take amoeba can cause something called as amoebiasis. Athava bacteria can cause some typhoid infections. So when we consume food which is going to have the microorganisms in it, and those microorganisms will pass, it will mix with the food, it will come into the stomach. Now, stomach is going to have hydrochloric acid, which maintains acidic conditions. A high acidic conditions, your body has a mechanism to overcome from this problem. And then microorganisms usually cannot survive in acidic medium. So it is going to die. It cannot survive in the acidic medium. So hydrochloric acid actually destroys microorganisms. So it destroys microorganisms present in food. Present in food. Is that clear to everybody? So two important functions of hydrochloric acid. One, it provides acidic medium for the enzymes to act on the food. Second, it destroys microorganisms present in the food. Okay, clear with this? Everybody? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can I proceed ahead? So we understood about HCl. We have understood HCl. Now, next. Can I write it here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So next important type of enzyme present in the stomach is considered to be as renin. This is an enzyme. So what is the function of renin? Renin is that important type of the enzyme which helps in break down, or we can say it as it helps in curdling of milk to curd. Curdling of milk to curd. This is going to be seen only in case of infants. Infants ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ಈಗ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the newborn babies do not have that well digestive system like how our adult body has, or like how your body has. So its main food is only considered to be as mother's milk. So ಹುಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತಹ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಬಹುದು ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಅದೇನಪ್ಪ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರವಾದ ಆಹಾರ ತಿನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. It is only dependent on liquid diet or liquid food that is considered to be as mother's breast milk. So that milk has to get digested in the body. So for that reason, renin is going to be present, which helps in curdling of milk to curd. Andre milk na break ಮಾಡಿ curd ತರ formation. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನೋಡಿರಬಹುದು ನೀವು. ಅದು ಹಾಲು ಕುಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ ಅದರ ಇದರಿಂದ ಮೂತಿಯಿಂದ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಾಯಿಂದ ಕೆನೆ ತರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ because the milk would have shown an activity of curdling with the help of renin enzyme. And this is going to be absent in adult body. So renin is absent in adult body. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
In this, so renin helps in curdling of milk to curd, which is going to happen in case of infants, and it is going to be absent in case of the adult body. Hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now next, let's try to understand about the importance of pepsin. So we'll try to understand about the pepsin enzyme. So what is this going to do? Pepsin is that important type of material required for conversion of protein to peptone. Protein to peptone. So now proteins, milk has protein, curds has protein, paneer substances has protein in it. So that protein has to be broken down into amino acids. So our entire amino acids madadakagalla. So hagagi proteins are going to be converted into peptone, and that is going to happen with the help of pepsin enzyme. Pratap Tidya, is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so protein is converted to peptone. So what is this peptone? Peptone is actually an intermediate product. Intermediate product. So means it is not the complete digested form of the protein. Protein digest agbeku andre end product barbekagirodu naಮಗೆ amino acids, but we are not getting amino acids. We are still having peptones. Peptones are intermediate products. Proteins are converted to peptones, which are intermediate products, and that will happen with the help of pepsin enzyme. Okay, now is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then next importance is we have lipase. Gastric lipase. So when we are talking about the gastric lipase, lipase is the enzyme which is going to act on fat or lipid. So every single day we are going to consume fat or lipid in the form of coconut oil or groundnut oil, sunflower oil, or that is all considered to be as lipids. Fats in the form of ghee, butter, cheese, all this are considered to be as the fats. So when you consume that fat or lipid, lipase acts on this food, fat and lipid gets converted into fatty acid. So this activity takes place in your stomach. So stomach kalyanitiga, first we have mucus, which protects the stomach from the acidic attack. Then you have hydrochloric acid, which provides acidic medium for the enzymes to act on the food, and it destroys microorganisms present in the food. Then you have a renin enzyme. Renin enzyme is present only in case of infants, helps in curdling of milk to curd, and it is absent in the adult body. Pepsin helps in conversion of protein to peptone, which is an intermediate product of the proteins. Lipase helps in conversion of fat to fatty acids, fats or lipids to fatty acids. Hope this is clear to everyone. Hoda?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So once the food is digested, I told you food is going to be present in the stomach for 3 to 4 hours period of time, and then when the digestion activity is taking place, the stomach is undergoing churning activity. Food churning activity. So once the churning activity takes place, the food converts into a fluid substance, okay, or a semi-fluid substance. So that is called as chyme. I call that as chyme. Okay. So once the food is undergoing an activity of conversion of completely churning it, so that gets converted into chyme. So this chyme will be present in the stomach at regular intervals of time. There will be something called as a material which is going to prevent the food from coming out of the stomach. That we call it as, we have one muscle here, circular muscle. So which we call it as pyloric sphincter. We call that as pyloric sphincter. The pyloric sphincter is going to show contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. As a result of that, small amount of food at regular intervals of time starts moving from the stomach into the duodenum. it starts moving into the duodenum. So that is going to be controlled by pyloric sphincter. Okay, is that clear? So what is going out of the stomach? Chyme is going to be going out of the stomach for the further conversion of food into digested food molecules. Arthaita? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt idya? So today we understood digestion in the mouth, digestion in the stomach. So in digestion in stomach, we have understood about the gastric gland consisting of gastric juice with all these importance. And also we understood how in digestion of mouth takes place with the help of saliva. Saliva is going to have called as something called as salivary amylase. We understood that part. You know, doubt the other way?
No, sir.
Okay. So immediately we will stop it because further next hoಗ್ತಿವಲ್ಲ, that is small intestine. Duodenum ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂಥರ digestion ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Jejunum and ileum ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂಥರ digestion ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So that's a very big process. So ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. So we have understood two things: digestion in mouth, digestion in stomach. Clear? Any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, why doesn't gastric juice contain of trypsin, sir?
ಟ್ರಿಪ್ಸಿನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಡ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ಸಿನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಇದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಿಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಟ್ರಿಪ್ಸಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೈಯರ್ ವರ್ಷನ್, ಅದು ನೀವು PUC ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತೀರಾ, ಇವಾಗ ಬೇಡ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡೆಪ್ತ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಮನ್ಯ.
Yes, sir.
Manya, can you hear me? Yeah, fine. Okay then. See you all. We'll meet you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye and thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Yeah.